I'm John White. This week's segment, we're going to be talking about fruit production, and today, particularly figs. And in the southern part of the state, fig production is underway, and people are harvesting figs. And with me is Mr. Bill Alford. And Bill, welcome to Southwest Yard and Garden.
Thank you.
Bill, tell us a little bit about your fig tree here. How old is it, and what kind is it?
It's a 9 years old. It's a black turkey. It has been in this location for most of the 9 years. We did transplant it once when it was just a very short tree.
Okay, it looks real good. What kind of care have you taken with this tree?
I fertilize, I dig a hole in auger every spring and fertilize down half a cup per hole, just like I've been taught in my books, etc. Maybe your books, for all I know. Maybe your show, for all I know. And well, we water it pretty regularly.
Even though you have concrete and paving there, it's still important to know that the roots on the tree do grow out past the outer edges of the tree.
I put it right about
it's
here.
important to get them out there.
Yep.
And you said your wife does a lot of the watering?
Yes, she does. She's in charge of the water.
And how about as far as major insect problems and stuff?
None. And I put this tree has never had anything on it except sometimes I spray tracite fertilizer. But mostly it's just the dry stuff I do in the spring.
Okay. I guess one of the big questions is when do you know a fig is ready to be picked?
Right, that's the essential question.
Right.
Well, for your listeners, I'm going to tell them that for me, although obviously if they're dark and purple, they're in the ballpark, but right. Feel is the only way to go. Okay. And you don't want them too squishy. You get them too squishy, a lot of the times, they're very sweet, but a lot of times insects have gotten in there, as you told me, through this hole, and once they get in there, as you told me, they do a lot of damage and the fruit is ruined.
All right, bacteria and different things can get in with the insect to cause even further breakdown.
Exactly. So you really like a fruit. This one feels very nice, but it's dark purple. Really, I would have probably picked this yesterday myself.
Oh, yeah.
This, you'll see a fig like this. See, even though it's got green on it, this is going to be a beauty.
Right, it's still, yeah, it's good and soft. We might point out, you can see the latex that's starting to form there on the outside when you break them off. Some people do have some skin irritation. You get a little latex sap on your tender part of the skin on the underside of an arm, that kind of thing. You can get a irritation, so sometimes using gloves is a good thing to do with it.
Well, the other piece of advice I give is, first of all, remove any bird poop. That's critical. But always open them, because bugs love to get in there, and there's no point in eating that much concentrated protein.
All right.
When you're really eating fruit.
Yeah. Well, we can see from the inside of the fig that a lot of the figs are pollinated through a process parthenogenically that's without any sexual transmission, so you get no seed development. So figs are nice in that aspect because you don't have a lot of seed in them, so they are
Isn't that nice?
Good to eat fresh. Very good.
Yeah.
Now, Bill, you take the fruit from the tree and do another process.
Well, I eat as many as I can, but as you can see, look at this tree. There must be, I'm getting 2 or 3 dozen a day at this time of the season. I mean, really nice figs. So I dry it. Okay. And I dry it with a dehydrator, which is an electrical device, inside. But really in New Mexico, except this last month has been, a little muggy. It hasn't been typically New Mexico, but outside is the only way to go. I've just put my racks, cut them up into quarters, put them out in the sun, put a screen over it, just a piece of, soft screening, and leave them there for about 2 days. And you just got to bring them in if it rains.
Okay. And then after they're dried, do you...
Well, I freeze them, because I freeze them. I do the apricots also the same way. I dry them perfectly dry, and they probably be okay, but I freeze them. Okay. I've eaten apricots that are 1.5 years old. Okay.
And then you end up with a nice fresh, so to speak, fig that you can eat year round.
Oh, it's I tell you, a Jarlsberg cheese and a little wine and those fig hunks is a cocktail hour. I mean it.
Well, we do want to point out to our listeners that one of the major problems with figs, in especially the southern part of the state, is nematodes. So if you're in a real sandy soil, you do want to make sure that you don't have a nematode problem on on the fig. There's not much you can do if you do have the problem. You just need to give the tree additional water and fertilizer and get it going good. But Bill, thank you very much for being on Southwest Yard and Garden and sharing your expertise on figs.
Thanks, John.
Good.
Oh yeah, they are good.